Are you thinking of starting a handmade business? Today, I'm going to talk about 5 major pros and cons for starting your own business, and stick around to the end because I have a little quiz that will help you decide if a business is right for you or not. Hi, my name is May Pak, and I help makers, artists, and designers make a consistent income from selling their handmade products online. Number 1, let's talk about control. Control of your destiny, control of your life, control of what you do for a living. It's not a surprise that this is a huge pro to running your own business. You're in charge and no one tells you what to do. You get to choose your own path. And when you wake up in the morning, you get to do what you want to do, and it's your business. And you know what? As you become more and more successful, you can hire people to do what you don't feel like doing. Let's say you don't like doing accounting. No problem. You can hire an accountant to do that. Or maybe you don't like packing orders. You can hire someone to do that. One huge pro of running a business is an immense sense of control. Now, this is a double-edged sword though, and being in control is a huge con as well. Sometimes it can really suck. You're in charge of everything and you are legally responsible for what happens in your business. You're in charge of paying your bills, you're in charge of making sales, and depending on your position, a lot of people can really feel the pain that comes from having a lack of a mentor in a traditional job. You know, you're typically given a job description with expectations that you should meet. And you often have someone with some seniority that you can follow and learn from when you're working in a regular job, right? But when you own and run your own business, however, you're just out there on your own. You have to figure it out all by yourself. While it's nice to have that freedom of doing whatever you want, whenever you want, it's also hard for some people to have no guidelines or structure in their life. Moving on to number 2, time. The pro when you run your own business is that you get to create your own schedule, right? You can take time off whenever you want. So you can plan a vacation and you can go to the gym first thing in the morning. It is your schedule. That's a huge pro. And I have to admit, it's one of my favorite things about running my own business. The con, though, is you're in charge, which means you're the one who has to actually get things done, right? And you are the only person when you're starting out. So I think a lot of us fantasize about laying on the beach for a month at a time, but the practical realities of actually running a successful business often means that you cannot take time off the way that you would like. And until your business is earning enough to hire staff or a team, you are the one who has to get things done, all by yourself. You're probably going to be working longer hours running your own business than you did when you were working for someone else. Like if you get a rush of orders on Black Friday, you have to make sure that those get out on time because your reputation is on the line. And so you should assume for the first few years at least that you're not going to have a ton of spare time, even if you do get to pick what time you have lunch. Number 3, money. The serious pro here is the potential to earn a lot of money. More money than you would make than if you were working for a regular 9-to-5 type of job. When you're running your own business, you can hustle hard for those sales. You can even build a business that you can turn around and sell. This is a big reason why some people start businesses. The con is that you could earn a lot of money or nothing at all. You should probably assume that for the first little bit, you're not going to earn very much money from the get-go, and it might be a few years before you're earning enough money to live off of, or that matches what you were earning in a normal day job. Remember, you're the boss. That means that you have to pay your freelancers, you have to pay your team, you have to pay for postage, your supplies, and you have to pay for those things first before you can take home a paycheck. So in the beginning, the money can be slim. Okay, number 4, space. Serious pro here, and another one of my favorites, is that you can work from home, which means you can just pop on over to the kitchen and have a cup of tea if you want to. It also means that you're saving money left and right because you don't need any work clothes, there's no overhead for renting a workspace, and you don't have to commute to work. So you may or may not need a car even, which for some people can take hours every single day to make that commute to work, which actually goes back to my previous point about time. The con is, depending on your family situation, you're probably working from home and not from a rented studio space. And this really is a personal preference, so I love working from home, but it's just me, my husband, and my dog. If I had a couple of kids, I might not love working from home so much. If I had a business that required a lot of space, like printing or pottery or dyeing yarn, and so then you have to pay to rent a separate space. It can either be a good or bad thing that you're working from home. So this is just all information that you need to budget when you're starting to plan for your business. Number 5, tools. You get to pick all of your favorite tools, right? No more working with what someone else picked out for you. If there's an amazing laptop that you can use for your business, buy it, and it's a business expense. That's amazing for those of us whose businesses is an extension of their hobbies. Like the idea of buying fabric and yarn, all of the things we've always wanted to do, and calling them business expenses and making money from it is absolutely amazing. Like photographers who have been drooling over that new lens but haven't really convinced themselves it's worth it. When this becomes your profession, it suddenly becomes a business expense, and that's a tax deduction. The con, well, you've got to pay for all of those tools. That's your responsibility now, not your boss's. And you know what? There's a lot that you can take for granted when you're working for someone else. Just a couple of examples. If you have to meet a customer, did you know that it's a liability to have a customer actually come to your house unless you have the right type of homeowner's insurance? So then you would need to maybe rent a space, maybe in a community center or a co-working space. And that's money. If you're spending minutes on the phone, that's a cost. The electricity to run your buzzsaw or whatever kind of equipment you're using, even simple things that we consider kind of everyday tasks like Microsoft Word or Adobe Photoshop or your Dropbox storage, all of those things that kind of came along with your regular job without you thinking a lot about it as freebies in your standard workplace are now things that you're going to have to pay for yourself, like hosting your own website or maintaining your website. Those are the kinds of expenses that are never quite as fun as that new camera lens. You know what I mean? Okay, so you've heard all my pros and cons, and now you've reached the tiny little quiz. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and these are all yes or no questions, so don't worry, we're not going to get super deep here, okay? So first question, do you feel stressed out by having a lot of different things on your plate? Does your lifestyle require a reliable income? Are you constantly distracted by new ideas? Is it hard for you to be self-disciplined or to have self-initiative? So I'm going to say if you said yes to 2 or more of these, then running your own business might not be right for you right now. The thing is, you may want to run a business as your side hustle, but also maintain your day job, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because I'll tell you, running your own business is not a walk in the park, but it can have some amazing rewards if you are a good fit for it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have any questions, and subscribe to my channel for more handmade business tips. Don't forget to stay on to watch this next video on the screen.